Can everyone please stand if you are able for the arrival of the graduates?
l'histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God gave a land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Good morning. Ani, welcome. As a visitor to this territory and as the program head of Justice Studies at the University of Guelph-Humber, I want to acknowledge and honor the Indigenous nations and Indigenous peoples that have lived and passed through these lands. We recognize the land on which we gather today has been and still is the traditional territory of several Indigenous nations, including the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat, the Métis, and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nations. Let us remember, as stewards, we must not care not only for one another, but we must also care for the animals, the birds, the insects, the plants, and the land. We're grateful for the opportunity to celebrate together on this land. Miigwech, thank you. Now, let us all take a few minutes for personal reflection and thanks. We are fortunate to live in a country where, relative to much of the world, we enjoy freedom, security, and prosperity that so many others do not have. Therefore, I ask that we respect the various spiritual and faith traditions represented in this room, and with a short period of silence, and we will mark the opening of the Convocation ceremony. Thank you.
I officially declare the opening of this Convocation ceremony. Please be seated.
Good morning, everyone. My name is George Bragas. I'm the Associate Vice Provost Academic at the University of Guelph-Humber, and I have the honor today to be among those to give you some greetings. So, Chancellor Chambers, Senior Vice President Antonacci, and Provost Chapman, faculty, staff, parents, family, friends, and of course, the graduands. Welcome to Convocation for the class of 2022. We are here, we are in person, this is happening. This is our first in-person convocation in 3 years, and I could not be happier to see all of you live in the audience and not within a frame in on my computer screen. It is so wonderful to instead greet you in the physically non-distant way that human beings have expressed their social nature from time immemorial. Needless to say, the last several years have been unprecedented. But members of the class of 2022, you have all successfully navigated the multitude of obstacles and challenges that the pandemic threw in front of you. Part of the significance of this event is to recognize the unique sacrifices that you've made in reaching this point. Sacrifices that none of us on this podium had to make when we were completing our university studies. And though while we cannot overlook how the pandemic impacted your experience, we should not let the pandemic make us forget what your accomplishment as university graduates essentially represents. One of the primary missions of the university is to promote human flourishing by helping each of you to become enhanced versions of yourselves, more skilled, more thoughtful, more knowledgeable, more socially conscious, and most importantly, more empowered to contribute to your communities than you were when you started your university studies. By receiving your degree and diploma today, you have all demonstrated your own human flourishing as a person. Of course, that project of self-enhancement doesn't stop here. You're all going to continue to flourish as individuals as you go off to pursue your careers or future studies. And we here at the University of Guelph-Humber look forward to hearing about, and indeed boasting about, your accomplishments. Though human flourishing is always a work in progress, today is a good day to take stock, to reflect, and to focus on what you've accomplished up to now. For each of you in the class of 22, this is a significant juncture in your lives, which we are here to honor and applaud. So enjoy the ceremony today, and I hope you have a wonderful time afterwards celebrating this achievement with your family and friends. I now call up Dr. Marianne Chambers, Chancellor of the University of Guelph. She will also provide some greetings, and she'll be followed by Dr. Gina Antonacci, Senior Vice President, Humber ITAL.
Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here today with all of you as we celebrate the journey of the amazing graduates from University of Guelph-Humber, an incredible partnership between two great institutions, the University of Guelph and Humber College Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning. So my name is Marianne Chambers. Last week, I was installed as a Chancellor of the University of Guelph. But that does not describe who I am, only the latest stop on my own journey. I am a daughter of the Caribbean island of Jamaica. Almost 46 years ago, my husband Chris and I chose Canada to be our home, the place to raise our two young sons. I made a commitment then, as I do now, that we would be good for Canada and Canada would be good for us. I see that as entirely consistent with the University of Guelph's commitment to improve life. The scope of that, the needs, and the opportunities are limitless. They are local and they are global. And they are as equally relevant to you as University of Guelph-Humber graduates as they are to the graduates in Guelph or Ridgetown, and indeed to every one of us in this room today. Consistent with the objects and purposes of the University of Guelph Act of 1964, being the intellectual, social, moral, and physical development of its members and the betterment of society, the university also applies a definition of sustainability adopted from one established in 1987 by the World Commission on Environment and Development, which states, sustainability means meeting the needs of today's generation without compromising the needs of future generations. At its broadest scope, it encompasses economy, society, and environment. We're designed to be social beings. We were not created to live in isolation of each other. It should not require a crisis for us to recognize that we are essential to the well-being of each other. Whether the program of study that you chose to pursue has been justice or psychology, business, family and community social services, early childhood studies, kinesiology, or media studies, you have crucial roles to play in addressing issues that are essential to the quality of life we all seek to enjoy. Matters of such magnitude with their broad implications and consequences, call for the attention of the brightest minds from every academic discipline and every career path that you might choose. If we imagine the various ways that we might define quality of life as human beings, it becomes obvious that there are connections, collaborations, and partnerships required everywhere. Graduates, you are building upon a foundation established by high achievers from every college of the University of Guelph and every part of Humber College. I hope you have a sense of what is possible. I want you to aspire to greatness. Most of all, I want you to make your lives matter, because our world truly needs you to do that. The world should be a better place because you have lived. So as you embrace the pleasure and satisfaction of these moments and look with optimism and courage towards the next chapters of your lives, I wish you continued success. And I ask that you remember how you have gotten to this point. And I am not thinking about how hard you have worked, really, but about those who have cared so much about you and have often made significant sacrifices to enable you to dream big and hopefully to improve life for yourselves and for others. This would be a good time for you to stand and applaud all those who have supported you along the way. We accomplish very little on our own. So remain close to the University of Guelph-Humber and the University of Guelph. These will always be your alma maters. Be very proud of that.
Chancellor Chambers, members of the Platform Party, honors guests, faculty and staff, family and friends, and especially to our graduates. It is my pleasure to bring greetings from Humber College to the University of Guelph-Humber graduating class of 2022. You know, I've been a part of many graduation ceremonies over the years in many different roles, as an administrator, as a faculty member, as a parent, and as a graduate myself. And I must say that each ceremony offers that same pride of achievement, the joy of success, and excitement for new beginnings, and anticipation for the possibilities that await the graduates. To the graduates, you did it, and you are graduating with 2 credentials and the strengths and benefits of both a college education and a university education. You've worked hard, you've persevered through challenges that none of us could have predicted, and as a result, you're better poised than any other graduating class to enter the new world of work that awaits you, a very different world of work that existed prior to this time. And as our Chancellor reminds us, the world needs you now more than ever. We need you to continue to be confident and courageous as you step into a future that will present uncertainties and challenges, as well as opportunities, many more opportunities for growth and innovation. I hope that you will continue to use the skills that you learned as a student and as a scholar. Think critically, continue to question and challenge. And we know that as a University of Guelph-Humber student, you have been a part of a highly diverse and inclusive institution. Continue to embrace diversity in all of its forms as you move forward. And finally, and maybe most important, I hope that you will reach back. I hope that you will continue to support those who follow you, that you will use your privilege to support and empower those who come after you. You leave here today with the ability to make a difference in the world for both yourself and others. We are very proud of all that you have achieved, and you have proven that you can do remarkable things. We can't wait to see what you do next. Congratulations and good luck, graduating class of 2022.
Good morning. I'm Gwen Chapman, and I am the Provost and Vice President Academic at the University of Guelph. And I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, Jacqueline Edwards. Jackie Edwards is a 28-year-plus veteran with Correctional Service of Canada, and she has worked in various positions within CSC at the institutional, regional, and national levels. In 2019, she became the first woman elected to President of the Association of Black Law Enforcers, or ABLE, which was formed in 1992 to improve the image of law enforcement within the Black and racialized communities and provide mentorship, counseling, coaching, and guidance to those interested in law enforcement-related careers. Jackie has a passion for civility, equity, inclusion, diversity, and contributing to and creating healthy, respectful, and culturally sensitive interactions and work environments. She seeks out the opportunities to promote cultural awareness and sensitivity, embracing differences, and fostering good relations with diverse people and communities. Please welcome Jacqueline Edwards.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you so much, Dr. Chapman, Dr. Ellis, Dr. Bragas, Dr. Antonacci, Dr. Chambers, Dr. Chapman, faculty, graduates, family. It is an absolute honor and pleasure for me to be here with you today. As noted, when they say 28 plus years of service, in other words, old. I actually was taught 20 plus years ago by Dr. Antonacci. I am one of her students, so if my knees start to shake a little, it's just because I want to do her really proud. So help me out, eh? Let me know, some thumbs up if I'm on the right track. If you see me kind of slipping, bring me back a little bit, eh? Because this is big. This is big. So as noted, I've been given 5 minutes, and those of you who know me know that that's in itself a big task for me to stay within, but I'm going to do my very best. As noted, I am a very proud public service employee employed by the Federal Correctional Service of Canada, and I am also very honored and humbled to be the current president of the Association of Black Law Enforcers, an association that 29 years ago actually recognized me for academic excellence and community involvement, an association that Humber actually introduced me to, and an association that I am a product of. And the reason why I share that with you is because I think it is important for you to always remember where forth you come from. Never, ever forget your roots. Never forget those who along the way have paved the path, have created opportunities, have enabled, and have assisted you to be the very best you that you can be. As noted, it is an absolute pleasure for me to be here today, and I too would like the graduates to applaud themselves as well as your family that are here with you today. You did it. You did it. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. That simple act of just inhaling and exhaling is an important one for you to remember as you continue or begin your new journey. And while I don't know the path or the journey that brought each of you to where you are today, I believe there are some similarities. And if any of them resonate with you, I'm going to ask you to actually raise your hand. Dedication, drive, sacrifice. Anybody have a little bit of doubt? Oh yeah, see how those hands went up? A little bit of doubt. Any adversity? Anybody in here had to overcome a little tiny bit of adversity to be where you are today? Absolutely. Late nights and early mornings. Lord, you see how those hands went up a while ago? Family. Without family, where would we really be? Friends. And navigating your way through a health pandemic. I don't know that any other graduating class of past can say that they also had to navigate a health pandemic. You did it, and you continue to do it. Resiliency, focus, goal-oriented, achievers. Any bold, courageous, and curious people in here? I would like to see a little bit more boldness, because the field that you're going to be entering into or that you are currently in requires boldness. It requires courage to do the right thing when doing the right thing might not be the majority. Does that make sense? It requires a level of courage, tenacity, and boldness to do what is right. Personally, professionally, societally, to do what is right, and you will be challenged in that way. You are the current, not just the future leaders, because you've already started out your leadership role by deciding to pursue your studies, staying long enough, sticking to it long enough, and here today as graduates. Perhaps some of you are a little nervous. Any nervous folks in here? Perhaps a little anxious, perhaps a little unsure, or even downright scared. Even downright scared. I know 30 plus years ago, 20 plus years ago, I was very nervous. I was nervous because I knew what I wanted. I just didn't know if I could. But I figured out shortly thereafter that yes, I can. And I'm going to suggest that you can and will as well. I'm going to say it again. You did it. 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 Through all the anxiety, the unsurety, the doubt, the adversity, a health pandemic, you did it. You made the decision to pursue your studies in an area that confirms your commitment to justice, public safety, and understanding human behavior. You selected the University of Guelph-Humber to lay the foundation that you will build on as you navigate spaces that will require a commitment to service, a commitment to community, and a commitment to purpose. A purpose that will at times challenge you in ways that you never thought possible. A purpose that will call on you to serve, protect, defend, assist marginalized and vulnerable peoples. A purpose that will give you the opportunity to positively influence people's lives, or, the truth of the matter, negatively impact how people relate to the justice system and relate to the professions that you will pursue and/or are currently involved in. It is that purpose that will allow you to keep going on the days that you feel like stopping. A purpose that requires compassion, care, civility, humility, humanity, empathy, and being just. I want to encourage you to stay true to the reason you are choosing to pursue your studies in justice or psychology, public safety, and how you want to apply the theory and the knowledge that you've learned in your chosen fields. I'd like to encourage you to never, never lose sight of the incredible responsibility that will be bestowed upon you in your chosen field and professions. I'd like to encourage you to give back. Give back to your community, to your family here at Guelph-Humber. I'd like to encourage you to raise awareness on equality, diversity, inclusion, and anti-racism. Stand up and stand out against all forms of racism, all forms of discrimination. Be bold, be courageous, stay your course, pursue your goals, stay true to your purpose. But along the way, smile, laugh, enjoy life. Don't take yourself so seriously. It's okay to just enjoy not just the moment of today, but the many moments that the future will allow. Find a mentor, be a mentor. Lift as you climb. Create your own footprints, but honor those who have come before you. As you've probably heard, be the change you want to see. Be passionate about people and public service, and never, ever forget your why. Don't forget what brought you here today. Don't forget your why. Find and define your purpose and never let go of it. There's a quote by Elaine Dalton that I want to also share with you. If you desire to make a difference in the world, you must be different from the world. Congratulations, you did it. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you so much for those very inspiring words, Jackie. Graduands, the moment has arrived. Will the graduating class please rise? Chancellor Chambers, I have the honor to present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of the University of Guelph that they may be admitted to their various and several degrees with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I hereby accept you for admission to your various and several degrees with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
Senior Vice President Antonacci, I have the honor to present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the academic requirements of Humber Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning in their respective programs, that they may be admitted to their various and several diplomas with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
I acknowledge your various and several Humber Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning diplomas with all the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
Will members of the graduating class please be seated? There will be 3 groups of students graduating this morning. I would ask that you withhold your applause until the end of each group to ensure that each student's name can be heard clearly. At the end of each group, though, we will expect some truly thunderous applause from friends and family. Chancellor Chambers and Senior Vice President Antonacci, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the University of Guelph that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Arts, General. Michael Adekolu. Jennifer Alphonse. Rajni Bakri, with distinction. Andrew Bryan, with distinction. Terelin Filipovich, with distinction. Sarah Fuller, with distinction. Brett Gregg, with distinction. Kathleen Hamelin, with distinction. Rhonda Harrison, with distinction. Kate Massoum. Sarah Janes, with distinction. Giovanni Logiudici. Venice Lojasi. Stephen McInnes, with distinction and the Vice Provost Award winner. Sati Nareen Bipat. Angelo Rotondo. Ronald Samuel, with distinction. Paul Michael Sini. Rosemarie Sims. Maren Glenn Suleimani. Jaskaren Verhia, with distinction. Lucas Yip, with distinction. BAA Justice Class of 2022. Chancellor Chambers and Senior Vice President Antonacci, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the University of Guelph-Humber that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science Justice Studies Honors and to the Diploma in Community and Justice Services or Police Foundations. Athanasios Adamos, with distinction. Amina Ahmad, with distinction. Jordan Aarons. Alyssa Millen Ramirez Alba, with distinction. Michael Joseph de Souza Almeida. Christos Ananastopoulos. Veronica Ashlyn Madeline Araya. Suman Atwal, with distinction. Vanessa Adesano. Adamo Agarusa. Jada Augustine, with distinction. Cynthia Balaranjan. Emma Barkley. Yashvi Barot, with distinction. Stephanie Mazel Benayam. Samantha Julia Benetti, with distinction and the Vice Provost Award winner. Katie Danielle Barry, with distinction. Prabrit Kaur Bular, with distinction. Angelina Bianchi. Anthony Brancaccio. Roranda Brissett. Alfonso Brooms. Chiquincia Brown. Marjorie Cassandra Brown, with distinction. David Matthew Carranza, with distinction. Nicholas Leo Carvalho, with distinction. Kevin Chagger, with distinction. Julia Champa, with distinction. Selena Marguerite Inez Correa Fabian, with distinction. Benedetta Constantino. Julieta Costa Singh. Laura Crescenzi, with distinction. Allison Grace Cristobal. Jillian Eileen DeMille, with distinction. Holly Diamanti. Andy Doe, with distinction. Julia Demanska. Rachel Duncan. Andrew Bruce Durnford. Hannah Elmy. Samantha Nicole Faruqi. Chanel Megan Fernandez, with distinction. Daniel Brendan Fragomeni. Ramneet Gill. Alessandra Tony Georgi, with distinction. Sarah Glenn, with distinction. John Stephen Gomez Giraldo, with distinction. Hope Grenell. Brianna Guida. Justine Dominique Guillermo. Aaron Jonathan Ha. Eamon Henslod, with distinction. Vijinder Singh Hera. Abigail Claire Hebner. Alana Colleen Huney, with distinction. Alia Janjua. Michael Jimenez, with distinction. Dylan Matthew John. Harmony Brooke Johnston, with distinction. Harpreet Kaur, with distinction. Mandeep Kaur, with distinction. Manpreet Kaur, with distinction. Hifsa Khan. Durdu Noor Kolu, with distinction. Angela Kovac. Tumaz Lach. Avery Michael Lane. Andrea Latoya Lewis Garraway. Narina Lee, with distinction. Daniela De Silva Lino. Stephanie Louie, with distinction. Joshua Lowe. Nathan Joel Matteo, with distinction. Iman Malik. Gurneet Kaur Mangat. Kyle Brandon Mann, with distinction. Luke Paul Marta, with distinction. Alexandria Grace Martin. Andrea Esther Matea Salas. Jaden Lynn Monder, with distinction. Ian Elvis Joshua Mawirat. Ethan Thomas McBrain, with distinction. Emma Victoria McEwen. Ankita Mehta. Elad Menahem, with distinction. Miriam Messiah. Jamie Milligan, with distinction. Jorday Kalesa Minis. Rashid Mohammed, with distinction. Julia Montoro. Parker Callie Moore. Natalia Deja Morris. Marcello Dino Marscardelli. Matusha Nakolsveren, with distinction. Savina Nanku, with distinction. Nishant Nanwa. Taryn Ron Narayan, with distinction. Jaslyn Nat. Gabriela Navarro, with distinction. Nicole Nazareth, with distinction. Asia Tien Nguyen. Cindy Nguyen, with distinction. Foriwa Oredu. Kieran Meet Pabla. Benny Rose Lee Paris Aline, with distinction. Claire Parrish. Samruti Patel. Leah Peyton Jansen, with distinction. Caitlin Mackenzie Pestle. Betsy Pinto. Katerina Pinto. Jordan Plant. Natalia Plonska, with distinction. Alvera Poles. Luke John Rachavolsky. Davinia Ramroop. Ekta Rana. Sanam Raza. Brendan Eric Rodriguez. Jasmeet Saggi, with distinction. Nimrita Kaur Sandhu, with distinction. Parneet Sandhu, with distinction. Daniel Jose Sandoval Garcia. Tanmeet Kaur Sangha, with distinction. Emily Mary Sangianese. Anujit Kaur Sansoya, with distinction. Bruno Andrade Santos, with distinction. Christopher Sasso. Victoria Jessie Saucier, with distinction. Emmanuel Saveljev, with distinction. Stephanie Lynn Shackleton. Tamor Shakil, with distinction. Ishab Sidhu. Camila Valentina Simbanez Chong. Simran Singh. Braden Robert Smeal. Josue Caleb Sordo, with distinction. Noah Benjamin Studley. Janine Tajadine. Wilson Toy. Caitlin Grace Mercia Thompson. Remo Tramontosi, with distinction. Catherine Nguyen Tron, with distinction. Michaela Trajani, with distinction. Corinne Nicole Tooligan. Cheyenne Elise Varmeyer, with distinction. Adriana Francesca Valdez. Nicholas James Van Sloten. Satvir Kaur Vander, with distinction. Leanne Van Oosterhout, with distinction. Angel Vassal. Vittoria Giovanna Vecchi, with distinction. Parth Walia. Julia Amber Widmer. Munha Rach, with distinction. Ainsley Yap. Sylvie Zamrutian. Daniela Zohar. And that was the Justice Studies class of 2022. Chancellor Chambers and Senior Vice President Antonacci, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the University of Guelph-Humber that they may be admitted to the Bachelor of Applied Science Psychology Honors and to the Diploma in General Arts and Science. Hanan Abdullah. Sophia Ali, with distinction and the Vice Provost Award winner. Nicholas Alves de Souza. Natalie Unvong. Madeline Armata, with distinction. Sanil Matthew Babulal, with distinction. Neelam Ball, with distinction. Dylan Theodore Brown Kimber. Madeline Burbello, with distinction. Glende Mariel Cabigas, with distinction. Cassia Kagan, with distinction. Selena Calcaño, with distinction. Trinity Fanlith Chan, with distinction. Amanda Kayla Charbonneau, with distinction. Jody Chanyang Chung, with distinction. Fablia Chowdhury, with distinction. Abigail Eunice Correas Monje, with distinction. Tavia Janae Crosdale Phoenix. Diana Rosita Cruz. Lauren Alexandra D'Angelo. Alessia DeFranco, with distinction. Tasia Dennis Riggin, with distinction. Harmanjot Kaur Dillon. Alessandra Cezira Dibona. Haley Elaine Dodd, with distinction. Alexis Marie Ferreira. Eva Simone Ribeiro Fialo. Jessica Mello Furtado, with distinction. Sarah Jessica Giambagno. Joshua Thomas Gonzaga, with distinction. Daniela Gonzalez Arocha. Shianse Graham Davidson. Michelle Harris. Jessica Caitlin Jackson. Shiana Alicia Johnson. Saruchi Kailash. Rafif Kamia, with distinction. Laura Karapetyan, with distinction. Maria Ashley Kersnick. Param Iman Khan. Kelsey Knowles, with distinction. Diane Lamila, with distinction. Ashley Lane, with distinction. China Jade Lazaro, with distinction. Erica May Contreras Lana, with distinction. Amanda Maria Lepresti. Courtney McCabe, with distinction. Christian Jason Nario, with distinction. Crystal Natalino, with distinction. Michaela Evelyn Grace Nixon, with distinction. Damimula Ogunyemi. Emily Ostella. Megan Catherine Patton, with distinction. Ryan Fan. Tima Policiardi, with distinction. Maven Porth, with distinction. Victoria Samaru. Francesca Saman, with distinction. Arnold Sampson. Tanya Sawan, with distinction. Lauren Schneider, with distinction. Asiya Siddiqui. Leanne Silva, with distinction. Jillian Silver, with distinction. Asha Katrina Sukwa. Nafiza Shamshal Sukram, with distinction. Christian Tersini, with distinction. Jesse Toppin. Alexandra Sabrina Tost, with distinction. Victoria Verney, with distinction. Marina Wardina, with distinction. Kenneth John Jr. Yukich. Iris Zachman, with distinction. Francesco Michael Anthony Zaffino, with distinction. Paige Zuber, with distinction. And that was the psychology class of 2022. Chancellor Chambers and Senior Vice President Antonacci, I would ask that you confer the various and several degrees and diplomas on the graduates listed in the program but unable to be present at this ceremony.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I confer the various and several degrees in absentia on the graduates not present.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer the various and several diplomas in absentia on the graduates not present today.
Following convocation, a reception will be held for our new alumni and their guests in the foyer. There's an opportunity here to congratulate our new members of the alumni family, and we hope that you can join us. In a moment, the platform will process out of the hall. We ask that you rise, if you are able, for the recession and remain at your seats until the platform has left the room. And now, as is our tradition, the final word is from our Chancellor.
Convocation is dismissed.